G'day, my name's Michael Brand. I'm from Darwin. I've been working with some other scientists, Cassie Rowe from James Cook University in Queensland, in Cairns, and Janelle Stevenson from Canberra. She's from the Australian National University, and also Simon Connor. He's that guy with the spoon on his nose, and he's from Canberra and the Australian National University as well. We've made this short video because we're interested in fire history and fire ecology, and we wanted to invite people that are interested in the same things as we are to work together on country to understand more about these things together. I hope you enjoy this little video, and we'll see you at the other end. Fire. It's an important part of landscapes and land management all over Australia. And we all know that fire patterns and regimes have changed over time. And there are lots of different stories about fire and different ways of understanding fire, going back for generations. This video explains one way of telling the long story of fire through time, using a very specialised toolkit.
These tools can help with land management and questions about fire in the past. And we'd like to work with people on country to learn together about how fire and burning practices have changed, to what degree they have changed, and where they have changed. But how could we find out about this? Well, you might be surprised.
The best places to look are lakes and wetlands. Why are these good places? Because their mud traps traces of the past. And these traces are like clues which help us to work out how fire has behaved through time. How do we find these clues? Well, let's start with how to collect the mud. It's actually fun, everyone can get involved, and it's really easy. This is one of the tools we use for collecting mud. It's called a corer. This keeps all of the layers of the mud in order. In other words, it's not all mixed up. And that's really important because each layer tells a story about a different time in the past.
Okay, so we've got our layers of mud. What happens next? It's time to get the charcoal out of it, which is not complicated. In fact, it's something which can be done out on country. All you do is take a small mud sample, like a teaspoon. You'd have trouble balancing that one on your nose, Simon. Pop it in a jar with bleach. Yes, good old household bleach. It bleaches all the colour out of all the plant material in the mud and makes the black charcoal easier to see. Just give it a good shake and then wash it through a sieve with some water to trap the charcoal particles. But they're still pretty small, and so they need to be counted under a microscope. And we often do this in what's called a Petri dish.
As everyone knows, every fire is different every time. And because these sediment cores go back into the past, the charcoal shows us how fire has changed over time. So a cool fire might look something like this in the Petri dish, while a hot fire might look something like this. Samples of charcoal from oldest to youngest makes a fire history. Here's an example of a history that started thousands of years ago, showing there were times of more fire and times of less fire.
So charcoal from sediment cores is another way of thinking about fire. And we'd like to work together with people to learn more about the fire history of the North. Looking at fire through time, and we can look a long way back in time.
Like a long way back. But the most important parts of this work are the collaborations, the conversations and the relationships that are built as we all work together, sharing all our ideas and questions about fire. And communities deciding what's important to them helps us plan together the right people, the right approach, and the right toolkits and gear to bring onto country. And then we can all get stuck in the mud. Lol.
But there's more to fire than just charcoal, like the different plants that were burning. But that's a whole other video. But yes, there are tiny flower fossils in the same mud that can tell us how fire affected all the different plants in the past and what was burning and how much. At the heart of what we do, however, is the commitment to respectful collaboration and two-way science.
And that's why we would love the opportunity to work with you to combine our different knowledges and skills to tell stories together, and to offer everyone the experience of doing this kind of work on their own country.
So if you'd like to discover more about this kind of fire history, why not get in touch?
And then we're all going to push down. Well, did it work? Do you think it worked? Hang on. You're going to push down again. Now we turn it. You want to turn it? Yeah, this way. Yeah. Turn. Yeah. And now we've got to pull it out. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, we got it. Wow. We've taken a whole lot of mud from the bottom. Now we get to have a look at what we caught.
Thanks for listening to us. I hope you found that interesting. Please get in touch if you'd like to know more about what we do and how we might be able to work together to learn more about fire history on your country.